Good people, welcome back to our channel, Global Happenings Today, a home of political news and reports on other events. The issue of President's decline in giving Mazi Nnamdi Kanu unconditional release from DSS detention has troubled Ohanaeze so much, considering the fact that, it was elder statement of the Southeast that actually went there to negotiate for him to be released. So the whole thing now seems to be on their head. And they are trying to brainstorm on those who are behind President's decision. And right now, they have been able to spool out one or two people, or let me say one or two groups, whom they are pointing accusing fingers at. And you're going to see what they intend to do. We're going to bring you full details of these in a jiffy. But before we do that, if you've not subscribed to our channel, please do well to click on the red subscribe button and also the bell icon so that you get notification anytime we publish our videos. Now, according to the news, Ohanaeze Ndigbo Worldwide has accused the Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF, and the Northern Elders Forum of being the reason behind President Muhammadu Buhari's refusal to release Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. The group said it has once predicted that the president will not release Kanu in its New Year message to Ndigbo because, according to it, they are infighting evidence, misguided assertions, and utterances of certain Southeastern leaders and IPOB itself. Ohanaeze said it has been sounding the warning that the approach, the session, and infighting in the camp of IPOB and amongst Igbo leaders will derail the release of Kanu through diplomatic effort. Ohanaeze claimed those who were sent to negotiate the unconditional release of the IPOB leader changed the course along the line and seized the opportunity to chase their personal gains. Ohanaeze further claims some Igbo political leaders and other people around Kanu are secretly benefiting from the president's nonchalant posture of not applying the political solution for Kanu's reason. Furthermore, Ohanaeze claimed that Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF, and Northern Elders Forum, NEF, are behind President Buhari's refusal to grant Nnamdi Kanu a political solution with evil intent to disorganize and set the Southeast ablaze ahead of the 2023 presidency. Nnamdi Kanu's trial will bring the untold tragedy of tension and disastrous violence to the Southeast, Ohanaeze said in a statement signed by Okechukwu Izuzoro, which is its Secretary General. Now, note this, that Ohanaeze Ndigbo, unfortunately, the Apex Southeastern group have two. That's Ohanaeze Ndigbo. Let me put it right. Ohanaeze Ndigbo have two groups. One is led by Chidi Ibe, and the other is led by George Obiuzo, Professor George Obiuzo. And the person who is writing this is actually that of Chidi Ibe. And they have listed a lot of things which is very good for us to look at them and also use that to kind of decide what to say, about this whole brouhaha around MNK's release. The president has declined. Now, there are certain factors that is behind it. Most people are talking about ACF, that's Arewa Consultative Forum, and also the Northern Elders Forum. But apart from that, apart from these two groups, there's another assertion here, another allegation they are throwing out, and it has to do with certain persons who actually went to see the president, used that opportunity to see the president for their personal selfish gain, which means that the crux of the matter, why they went to see the president, was not even Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You understand? So, at one point or the other, there could be some, here and there discussion. Should I release him? Some of them is, oh God, please, the main thing is this my issue. If you handle this my issue. I mean, people need to start having regional mindset than individualistic mindset. That individualistic mindset is what can halt the development of any region. I'm telling you. I don't know how true the assertion is, but I seem to believe it, because human beings are fond of these, being very individualistic. Issues of great importance like this that can restore peace back to the Southeast. You see them playing games with it, trying to see how they can profit from that privilege they have to meet with the president. They will begin to, spool up a lot of things that is totally unconnected with the main purpose of them going to see the president in Aso Rock. You understand? And when there is equivocation like that, uncertainties, coming from different parts like that, it will cause the president to look at the issue as not as burning as it sounds in the public fora, in the public forum. I mean, this thing is not this hard as these people. After all, some of their leaders still came back and told me that this thing is not important and all of that. So I seem to believe what these guys are saying. And that can really crumble the whole effort that had been put in place. I mean, because I was just wondering, why should the president, he had promised, I'm going to look into it, but all of a sudden just decided to shut down like that when some key people, somebody like Amaechi, the former minister of transportation, the man is, former minister of aviation. He's been there, and everybody knows him as a political stalwart. He's valued. He was valued from the statement of the presidency. I realized the man was overly valued by the president. So I don't think this could, the president can just wake up and he decide to take the decision he did. Could be because of some people. I mean, it's really mind-troubling to see this kind of things happen. And I at first, when this thing came up, that's talking about meeting with the president, I was expecting that they should be followed up by the governors. Have a meeting with the president that said, we want to thank you for what you intend to do to Southeast to restore back peace. Go there in a group. And begin to tell him that we know that you're going to make good decision, that this thing, if you do this thing for us, it will go an extra mile to restore peace back to the Southeast, and we will talk to our people. They are our children. We will talk to them. If that had happened, the governors went back as a follow-up. He will know that it is serious. Personal calls, even when you're relating with the president about the personal calls to him and re-emphasizing this thing will go an extra mile to, concretize that intent in his heart to do something about it. But unfortunately, it went south. And who is to be blamed now? Now, they have also spoken about ACF, Arewa Consultative Forum. Why that of Arewa Consultative Forum may have been prioritized more than what the elders did. It could be they were following up. President, please, this issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, don't release that guy. You saw what he did against us. You saw what he did against you. He called you name and all of that. They will keep on talking to the president about it. Consistency is one of the most essential things when it comes to getting favor from people. You don't just go one time, because this man, as we all know, the president, he has bulk of issues to resolve in the country. So if you don't follow up, if you don't call, if you don't let him understand the veracity of it, automatically it will be played down on. Now, there are multiple people around him who did not want the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We can talk about several of them. Now, if these people who are working very close to him keep on speaking into his ears about it, and then there is no follow-up from this other side, automatically he will yield. So right now, throwing tantrums and all of that will not really solve the issue. Ideally, what Professor Obiuzo, late Johannes Ndibo said was outrightly right. Outrightly, it's okay. Go back to your drawing board. Sit down and think of a suitable day, and it shouldn't be long, because that's the issue. If you want to follow up on something, you don't keep it for an extended period. Go quickly. Sir, this issue on ground, you know what we stand to lose if we allow this thing to go this way. And then you get to hear from him and possibly coin out another strategy of ensuring that this thing is handled once and for all. I think that's just my viewpoint about this. Let's go to our comment section. What is your position about this whole issue of finger pointing and all of that? Is there any element of truth in it, or do you think that the president blatantly refused, to release him? According to him, he must face judiciary. Listen.